In a quiet town in Vermont, there was a park called Maple Hollow. It wasn't big or fancy, just a few winding trails, a small pond, and an old oak tree that had stood for generations. Beneath that tree was a weathered wooden bench, its paint peeling and the wood soft from rain, and years of people sitting, thinking, and watching the seasons change. The townspeople loved that bench. Couples carved their initials into its backrest. Parents rested there while their children played, and teenagers sat there dreaming of bigger things beyond Maple Hollow. One autumn, a young man named Ben started visiting the bench every day. Ben had grown up in the town but left after high school, determined to make something of himself in the city. He studied business, got a good job, and climbed the corporate ladder faster than anyone expected. From the outside, his life looked perfect. A big apartment, a nice car, expensive suits. But what people didn't see was the constant stress, the shallow friendships, the pressure to work harder, earn more, always be on. Over time, Ben lost touch with old friends, then with his parents, then with himself. One day, after working 80 hours in a week and sleeping barely 3, Ben's body gave out. He collapsed in his office lobby. When he woke up in the hospital, the doctor said, "You're lucky this was just exhaustion. Keep going like this, and next time you might not wake up at all." Something inside him cracked. He called his boss, quit his job, packed a single bag, and drove back to the only place that ever felt like home, Maple Hollow. Every morning, Ben would walk to the old oak tree and sit on the bench. He watched the squirrels chase each other up the branches. He listened to the breeze rustle the leaves. He thought about his parents, how he hadn't called in months. He thought about the friends he'd ghosted, the dreams he'd traded for promotions. Some days, an elderly man named Walter would join him. Walter was in his 80s, with kind eyes and a cane. He thumped on the ground when he laughed. He'd sit down beside Ben without asking and say, "Mind if I share the view?" One crisp morning, Walter sat down with 2 coffees and handed one to Ben. They sat in silence for a while before Walter said, "You look like a man trying to outrun himself." Ben chuckled bitterly. "I already did, or tried. Didn't work." Walter sipped his coffee. "I did the same once," he said. "Worked 20 years at a factory down by the river. Did double shifts, missed birthdays, missed Sunday dinners. Wanted to give my kids more than my father gave me." Ben looked at him. "Did you?" Walter nodded slowly. "I gave them a house and a college education. But I didn't give them me. Didn't really know my son until he was 40. Ben stared at the oak tree, its branches heavy with gold and red leaves. "Is it too late?" Walter smiled softly. "It's too late to be perfect, but it's never too late to be better." The next day, Ben brought 2 coffees. They sat in comfortable silence as the sun rose higher and the leaves drifted down like confetti. Winter came and Ben shoveled his parents' driveway for the first time in years. He sat at their kitchen table drinking tea with his mom, helping his dad fix the old snowblower that hadn't worked in years. At night, he called old friends he hadn't spoken to since college. Some calls were awkward, but a few turned into long conversations that lasted until dawn. Every week, he still sat on the bench under the oak. Some days, Walter came by. Some days, he didn't. When spring arrived, the bench seemed to come alive again, its wood dry and warm in the sun, the tree above bursting with new green leaves. One sunny afternoon, Ben found a small brass plaque on the bench that hadn't been there before. It read, "This bench is for second chances. Take a seat. Start again." Ben smiled as he read it, running his fingers over the engraving. He didn't know who put it there. Maybe Walter. Maybe someone else who needed a new beginning. It didn't matter. Years later, kids still carved their initials into the backrest. Parents still rested there while their kids played. And sometimes a stranger would sit down alone, shoulders heavy, eyes tired, and find a little piece of hope in that simple bench under the old oak tree. Moral of the story: life doesn't come with a reset button, but it does come with benches under old trees, kind strangers, and the chance to sit still long enough to remember what really matters. It's never too late to start again.